Okay, I have three completely different questions. My first question is the easiest. Who do you think this was about? And why do you think it was about that?
Well, that's easy enough. It's about your Jesus Christ. I mean, it's all about him, about his suffering, the fact that people ignored him, the fact that he was not noble or rich, the fact that he was beaten, the fact that he suffered, the fact that he was crucified, the fact that he was improperly tried. It even has the fact he came back to life. It's a typical Christian scripture about Jesus Christ. I don't know how much easier it could be than that.
Well, that's interesting. Then I have a second question for you. According to this passage, why did Jesus Christ die?
Well, that's easy to answer. He died to take away the sins of people. All people have gone astray like sheep, and God took all of their sins and placed them on him. This is exactly the normal Christian teaching. He died because of our sin, and he rose again to be the intercessor on behalf of sinners. It's all very clear. In fact, it's the clearest I've ever heard of an explanation of why Jesus died. So thank you.
Well, I'm glad you understood it. It's pretty clear, isn't it? It's talking about Jesus Christ. I think everyone who reads that agrees that it's talking about Jesus, unless they have some prejudice or something. So then I have a third question. What would you do if I told you that this prophecy was written 700 years before Jesus was even born? That this is not something that was written by Christians, but it was written by a Jewish prophet. And we even have copies of that prophecy that were copied by hand 200 years before Jesus was born. Would you say that's impossible?
What? That's impossible. No one could predict something like that. Especially not 700 years before, maybe a year before you could say, that guy is going to die for sure, but not 700 years. I don't think there is this evidence. How can you prove it? Besides, it could never happen. Miracles don't happen. There is no God. Everybody knows there's no God. Ask any scientist. I don't think it's possible what you just said.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, isn't it? And yet, it's real. Every scientist, every historian will tell you the Isaiah 52 and 53 are there and were already in print long before Jesus came. And yes, it's pretty hard to get away from the hundreds of prophecies that predict the coming of Jesus Christ. It's all over the Old Testament. We know why Jesus came, and we know how he came, and we know what purpose he came for, not just from the New Testament, but also from the Old Testament. It tells us all of these things already. I think you need to read the evidence and decide for yourself if the miracle actually happened. Then maybe you need to give your life to Jesus Christ. Something to think about.